For years, I struggled with solos that felt aimless, just a bunch of noodling. But then I discovered this simple Jerry Garcia trick, and it completely transformed my playing from something common like this Now, I'm using The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down in the style of how Jerry Garcia band played it. But first, we want to understand what's going on with the tune. So the song is in A minor. Starts off with an A minor chord, then to a C over a G. So it's just a C chord with a G in the bass, like the lowest note, right? And it's being more intentional. Then we've got F to C over E to D minor. So that gives you that descending line, which makes things sound very sad. And this is a sad tune, so it's musically quite fitting. So it does that a couple times. Then it's a little more uplifting. A minor to F to C over G to F, right? Does that a couple times. And then it goes to a D7, even more uplifting. That note's outside of the key, and F sharp, right? Raises it up. Then for the chorus, C to F, right? So now we're in the key of C, which they're relative keys. It's called the relative major, relative minor. So it's a super common thing bands do all the time, especially in the 60s and 70s. It just kind of changes the color of the tune, you know? So we get from this darker sound to a lighter sound, all right? But we don't even need to know that. We don't need to know the chorus too, because the solo is only over the verse section. So that kees it easier though. It's just in A minor. So we could, think about, okay, A minor scale. All these notes work, and maybe we want to keep it a little bit simpler. We could just do the A minor pentatonic, right? That all works too. And now we've got, a good idea of what's going on with the tune musically. The first step is just to learn the song. But that doesn't mean that's going to give our solos any real direction. Cutting through all this noise is so simple though when you just do this. Once I started focusing on the vocal melody, my solos became so much more melodic, more emotional, and just way more fun to play. It's not about like just figuring out everything musically and kind of like exploiting all these musical things. You got to do it. Then you got to do it all over the fretboard. I used to be obsessed with I got to learn the open position, play up here, and then because I know it, I got to do it. It's much better to just keep things simple. And even if you want to play in a really flashy, complex way, it's still a great way to just have a good start to your solo. So you're connected to that song. People know where you're gonna go with it. You're not just going to some crazy place right out the gate. Sometimes that works great, but sometimes, especially for a song like this, you want to really be connected to the tune. So step 2 is to just play the vocal melody. We're getting a glimpse into how Jerry approached soloing melodically, but if you want to dive even deeper than we have in this video so far, check out the free Jerry Garcia 5-day challenge. Not only do I peel back even more layers, but it's focused on applying the tactics yourself and developing your own sound. So check out the link in the description down below to just get started. So having the melody down is just the first step. Jerry always added a lot of embellishments. Check out the difference. just like playing the simple melody, right? But like he's playing this note right here, bending up to it from here. So it's a lot of that, right? And that's like, I mean, so much of the solo revolves around this bending, the seventh fret right here, and really just playing right here. I mean, I listened to a lot of versions of this song, and every time he was basically just playing the melody the whole time. You know, there's this whole like thing about, oh, how Jerry played every time it was completely different and this and that. It's like a very romanticized idea, but like in reality, he certainly, you know, did improvise around and play things differently a lot, sure. But sometimes he just played the same thing on tunes. And this was a good example of like, he just played the melody and then, yeah, like these embellishments and things would be slightly different each time, but the core of what he played was the same, you know? And he pretty much played right here, maybe up here briefly for 1 second. So in just one position, this one whole solo. So, you know, you get that note right here, bending up to it, and a lot of, you know, hammer-ons, obviously vibrato, and then the picking, you know, dynamics, the technique there. Sometimes it's, and then, you know, really, really quiet. So what you want to do is toy around with this or something else that, you know, if this melody's a little too much, just take something that's really simple, like Jingle Bells, you know, and just have fun adding embellishments. Once you get the main part of the melody down, try out different ways to play it, add in some slides, hammer-ons, bends, vibrato, and just make it your own and get used to embellishing a simple melody. And you know, Jerry's tactic of focusing on the vocal melody, it's improved my playing so much, but there's so many other things I've learned from listening to him. So check out this video here where I show you my top 10 discoveries I made after I transcribed 4,277 notes from 30 of his solos.